Oh yeah, my Gliger's finally evolving. All those EV trainings and IV breedings for the perfect Gliscor is finally paying off. Can transfer him to my Scarlet game, and I'm gonna run him in all the competitive tournaments that I can participate in. What? It's banned? Ever since its introduction into the game, Gliscor has been a staple in OU, thanks to its ground flying type combination and reliable recovery with Poison Heal and Roost. On top of that, it was blessed with utility moves like Earthquake, U-Turn, Knockoff, and Defog, making it an extremely well-rounded support utility mon. However, there are some downsides to it, namely its quad weakness to common water and ice type moves such as Scald and Ice Beam. Fast forward to 12th November 2023 and Gliscor is now banned with a 66.37% vote in Generation 9 OU. But why? What changed in Generation 9 that pushed Gliscor over the top? Generation 9 ushered in a brand new metagame landscape. Terrestrialization has breathed new life into defensively oriented mons by allowing them to convert into a type that allows them to apply more defensive pressure than they would in their base types, such as Terra Dragon Dondozo, Terra Water Skeledirge, Terra Steel Bandibus, and the list goes on. Fundamental changes include the loss of hidden power since Gen 8, recovery moves having their PP nerfed from 16 to 8, as well as Toxic becoming a rarer sight due to the reduced number of mons that learn it in their move pools. This makes abilities such as Regenerator and Poison Heal much more valuable. Mons that are able to naturally learn Toxic such as Clodsire and Amoonguss also shot up in value. With the pool of mons designed for utility and stall being even more limited than before, hazard stacking balance and hyper-offensive team structures have seen a spike in usage. Teams that include bulky hazard setters like Tinglu and Gliscor, or offensive setters like Hisuian Samurott and Glimora thrive well due to the sheer existence of Golden Go, who single-handedly devalued hazard removal via all forms, making Court Change and Rapid Spin Great Task the only truly viable hazard removal option. This generation, Gliscor lost access to its stable form of recovery in Roost, but gained access to hazard stacking in the form of spikes, giving all playstyles a more stable access into hazard stacking. Due to Gliscor's excellent ground flying type, it is able to ignore webs and take minimal from Stealth Rock and spikes. This brings me to one of the hugest draws of using Gliscor, which is its self-sufficiency. Unlike many other Pokemon in the current metagame, such as Skeledirge and Garganacl, Gliscor as a defensive threat does not rely heavily on terrestrialization to perform well. That gives teams that run Gliscor a lot of flexible options, as they can retain their Terra option for an offensive lure or a defensive backbone structure to complement their team. Gliscor also got access to Crab Hammer in Generation 9, and the more commonly seen combination of offensive variants included SD Terra Water as well as SD Facade Terra Normal, both of which can easily catch opponents off guard. However, its offensive presence paled greatly in a metagame filled with overwhelming amount of heavyweight cannons such as Iron Valiant, Iron Moth, and King Gambit, just to name a few. An example of a well-structured team that really exemplified the premium support that Gliscor was able to provide was the team that ZevGB built. It revolved around Clefable having Stealth Rock to cover for Gliscor having Spikes. It also paired well with the defensive core of Milotic, Mandibus, and Skeledirge, with Gliscor accompanying the core to provide pivot and hazard support. The team piloted to great successes in competitive play because there was ample flexibility in deciding which defensive threat could Terra. Milotic Gliscor core was also extremely powerful as it was able to take on a plethora of threats, including outpacing opposing Gliscors with Milotic. As more games were played with the focus of using Gliscor as the sole support, it became clear that the problem with the current environment is less so a combination of Gliscor and Golden Go, but rather Gliscor's ability to roll compress and give other defensive mons breathing room to perform their roles. Currently, the replays for SPL are down, so I'll leave the replays in the description so you can watch it back when they are up. So, what gives? How do we deal with Gliscor? Magic Guard mons such as Clefable and Magic Bounce mons such as Hatrin are able to turn Gliscor into complete setup bait or ignore hazards and status damage. Air Balloon Golongo can also ignore Gliscor not carrying Earthquake, and if you are feeling kinda spicy, you can try and run Pecha Trick on Golden Go to clean slate the Gliscor if it already has its Toxic Orb knocked off. Various other mons such as Rest on Dozo, Worry Seed Amoongus, Take Heart Manaphy, and Neutralizing Gas Galarian Weezing can all blank Gliscor with relative ease. However, as you may have noticed, most of these mons that I have listed tend towards the bulkier side, and as such, very little progression on the game state can occur at times. Longevity of Gliscor can easily still be exploited due to the loss of direct recovery in the form of Roost as compared to Gen 7, but Poison Heal and Protect can still easily rack up heals on appropriate switching. It's pretty clear cut when it comes to tiering actions on offensive threats. If it means one or some of these criteria are met, such as metagame warping to some degree, extremely limited counterplay, huge constraints to consider when team building, and the general lack of checks and counters. But then, what about defensive and utility mons? What kind of criteria do we subject them to when we are identifying such mons for tiering actions? I came up with some criteria that the community identified and highlighted during the suspect testing duration that helped us determine the potential overwhelmingness of a defensive Pokemon. First, the ease of removal of risk and reward nature of certain support moves that progress the game state. Shed Tail is one classic example of this, because it removed the risk reward of setting up a sub and then baton passing out the sub. In this instance, Gliscor removes a large amount of risk reward of hazard stacking, making it an extremely easy task to set up hazards and punish team compositions that do not run heavy duty boots. Gliscor is able to consistently significantly decrease the reward factor of running knockoff due to its ability to just simply absorb knockoff while retaining the original benefit of its item, which was to just simply inflict toxic status to trigger Poison Heal. Secondly, it is able to force or halt or accelerate the game state's progression. With access to Poison Heal, Protect, as well as a high PP move such as Spikes, it is able to forcefully halt the game state's progression and is much more capable of doing so compared to other bulkier fat mons such as Dondozo and Clefable. Lastly, the strain on team compositions and structures. Pokemons like Moltres, which were able to check Rillaboom, Sneasler, Gambit, and had the ability to spread status and pivot at the same time, were completely phased out, despite being extremely popular pre-Teal Mask DLC, due to it being completely blanked by Gliscor. The same effect went for fat ground hazard stackers like Tinglu and Landrus T, with Landrus T almost falling out of OU ever since its debut in Gen 5. When observing the current metagame, Gliscor is clearly not a mon with no counters. Ice typing in general is only ever seen in offensive lure strategies, creating an amazing environment for Gliscor to thrive in. Protect gives Gliscor the ability to scout for momentum, as well as ease predictions against choice lock mons that can threaten to OHKO it. By no means is Gliscor a completely defensive piece that cannot be countered or cannot be broken. Overall, the community came to a decision to ban Gliscor, making it the third defensive Pokemon after Deoxys D and Mega Sableye to be banned from OU. As I am recording this on the 13th of December, yes, I took a bit longer to edit this video and to record this video. It was announced that Gliscor will be unbanned for the second DLC Indigo Disc. Now what does this mean? This doesn't really mean much in the short run because Indigo Disc is going to bring about a large plethora of new threats for the community to play around with and test around with, and Gliscor is still going to be a very premium support, and in an environment where Golden Gold is still rampant and everywhere, the level of support that Gliscor is able to provide with its hazard stacking and with its ability to spread status and act as a pivot is still going to be extremely monumental for OU teams. Alright, thanks for making it this far. By the time this video is out, the Indigo Disc DLC should already be released. It is about 24 hours away from the Indigo Disc DLC dropping, and I am super excited about it. What Pokemon do you think is gonna be the 20th Pokemon to be banned from Smogon OU after Indigo Disc DLC drops? Comment down in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.